Before we dive into the unknown, make sure to subscribe and join us on this journey beyond the stars. Hit the like button to keep the mission going. Your support fuels the next expedition. The Shakri'aya, the portal of the founders, echoes in the jungle. The Peruvian jungle was alive with the sounds of the night. Chirping insects, distant howls, and the rhythmic hum of unseen creatures filled the air. The humidity clung to the expedition team's skin as they moved cautiously through the dense foliage. Above them, the moon's pale glow barely penetrated the canopy, casting long, shifting shadows on the ground. Colonel James Hastings, a seasoned operative with years of field experience, signaled for his team to halt. He crouched low, raising his fist, his sharp gaze scanning the surroundings. His earpiece crackled with the voice of Dr. Elena Ortiz, the team's leading archaeologist and linguistic expert. "There it is," Ortiz whispered, pointing toward the half-buried structure ahead. Just like the scans predicted. A monolithic slab of stone protruded from the jungle floor, its surface covered in ancient alien glyphs that pulsed faintly, reacting to their presence. It was unlike anything the team had encountered before, a remnant of a civilization that predated recorded human history. "Looks untouched," Ramirez, the team's combat specialist, muttered as he slung his rifle over his shoulder. "Like it's been waiting for someone to find it." Hastings exchanged a glance with Ortiz before stepping forward, running his gloved fingers over the glyphs. The stone was smooth and unnaturally cold. It wasn't made of any known earthly material. "All right, team," Hastings said, his voice steady but alert. "Let's set up a perimeter. Ortiz, Patel, get your scans running. Evans, keep an eye on our six." As they worked, the jungle seemed to hold its breath. The wind died down. The usual cacophony of wildlife faded into an eerie silence. Ortiz ran a handheld scanner over the symbols, her brow furrowing. This is incredible," she murmured. "These inscriptions match the star patterns found on the Nazca lines, but this structure predates them by thousands of years." Patel, their tech specialist, tapped away at his datapad. "There's an energy reading coming from inside. Weak, but consistent." Hastings straightened. "Inside?" Before Patel could answer, the slab shifted. Dust and vines tumbled away as the ancient door began to slide open, revealing a dark, yawning corridor leading into the unknown. The team exchanged wary glances. "Well," Ramirez said with a smirk, "after you, Colonel." Descent into the unknown. The air inside was stale, carrying the scent of age and secrets long buried. Their flashlights illuminated smooth walls adorned with more glyphs, depicting celestial bodies and figures engaged in what appeared to be battle. As Ortiz documented the inscriptions, Evans ran his fingers along the walls. "This place gives me the creeps," he muttered. "Stay sharp," Hastings warned. "We don't know what's down here." They pressed forward, deeper into the structure. The further they went, the more the walls seemed to hum, resonating with their movements. Then, abruptly, the corridor widened into a massive chamber. At the center stood a circular portal, framed by metallic carvings. Though inactive, its surface shimmered faintly, reflecting their lights back at them in distorted, swirling patterns. "This is it," Ortiz breathed. "The gateway mentioned in the legends." Ramirez crossed his arms. "Legends or not, that thing looks like it still has juice." Patel knelt by the base, adjusting his scanner. "Energy readings are definitely stronger here. It's like it's been waiting to be activated." Ortiz turned to Hastings, excitement and caution warring in her eyes. "Colonel, if we can figure out how to power this, we could be looking at a literal Stargate." Before Hastings could respond, the chamber shook. A deep, resonating thrum vibrated through the stone as if something had awakened. Evans swore. "Tell me that was an earthquake." Ortiz's face paled. Number something just turned on. Hastings gripped his rifle. "We're not alone." From the shadows beyond the portal, something moved. The awakening. The trembling of the chamber grew more violent. sending small bits of debris cascading from the high-arched ceiling. The team scrambled back, weapons raised, as the portal pulsed with an eerie blue glow. The air around them crackled with unseen energy, sending static waves through their comms. Hastings kept his stance firm, but his pulse hammered in his ears. "Status," he barked. Patel's fingers flew over his scanner. The energy signature just spiked. It's stabilizing, but something is interfacing with it. Ortiz stepped closer, her breath hitching as she studied the glyphs along the arch of the portal. These markings, they're shifting. The language is reconfiguring itself. Before anyone could respond, the glow intensified, and a deep hum resonated through the chamber. The once dormant structure was coming alive, responding to their presence, or perhaps their intrusion. A sudden sharp crack echoed through the room. The ground trembled beneath them, and a column of light shot out from the center of the portal. The symbols along its edges rearranged themselves into a pattern Ortiz had never seen before. "Colonel," she whispered, transfixed. "I think we just activated it." Hastings gritted his teeth. "Then we need to be ready for whatever's coming through." Contact. The swirling vortex within the portal shimmered, casting flickering blue shadows along the chamber walls. Hastings signaled the team into defensive positions. Ramirez and Evans took cover behind fallen pillars, their rifles trained on the gateway. Then, movement. A figure emerged, tall and imposing, silhouetted against the luminous energy of the portal. Its form was humanoid, but undeniably alien. Smooth, segmented armor encased its body, and its elongated head bore no visible eyes, only a faint, pulsating glow where a face should be. The being took a slow, deliberate step forward. Its presence was overwhelming, exuding an ancient, unknowable power. The chamber's vibrations seemed to respond to it, as though the very stones acknowledged its return. Ortiz exhaled sharply. This must be a founder." The entity tilted its head slightly as if studying them. Then, without moving its lips, a deep voice resonated through their minds. "You have trespassed upon the sanctum of the Shakri'aya." The words sent a chill down Hastings' spine. He tightened his grip on his weapon. "We mean no harm. We're explorers, seeking knowledge." A moment of silence. Then, the founder lifted one hand, and the energy in the portal surged once more. More figures began to emerge. 4 more, each clad in the same enigmatic armor. Patel swallowed hard. I don't think they're here for a history lesson." The founder leader lowered its hand, and the symbols on its armor flickered. "Your arrival was foretold, but the gate was not meant to be opened. The balance must be restored." Hastings glanced at Ortiz. "Translation?" She hesitated. "I think they believe we've disturbed something that should have remained sealed." Ramirez muttered under his breath. "That's usually how bad things start." The founder took another step forward. "You must prove your worth, or face annihilation." The test. The chamber rumbled again, but this time it was not from instability. It was deliberate. The stone beneath their feet shifted, ancient mechanisms springing to life. The pillars around them realigned, forming a circular arena. The founder leader raised an arm, and in an instant, the air thickened with a tangible force, pressing against the team like an unseen hand. Ortiz gasped. "Some kind of energy field, isolating us." The founder gestured to the center of the arena. "Only those who prove themselves may claim the knowledge of the Shakri'aya. Choose your champion." Hastings clenched his jaw. He knew what this meant. They want to fight. Ramirez stepped forward without hesitation, rolling his shoulders. "Then let's give them one." The founder turned to its own warriors, selecting one to step forward. This opponent was larger than the rest, its armor marked with symbols that seemed to pulse in anticipation. In one swift motion, the alien extended a bladed staff from its forearm, sleek, deadly, and thrumming with energy. The arena fell silent. Trial by combat. The tremors that had begun in the depths of the ruins had not subsided. The air thrummed with an unseen force, a pulsating energy that seemed to rise and fall like a heartbeat. The team sprinted across the alien landscape, the structure behind them glowing with renewed life, as if the very world had begun to stir from slumber. Colonel Hastings led the charge, his mind racing. The Founders had locked something away. The portal was more than a bridge between worlds. It was a seal. And now they had disturbed its long-standing slumber. "Move! We need to get back to the insertion point," Hastings shouted over the deep rumbling that vibrated through their boots. Patel checked his readings as he ran, sweat streaking his face. Energy levels spiking. Something is definitely coming online. Then, as suddenly as the tremors began, they stopped. The world fell into eerie silence. Hastings held up a fist, signaling the squad to halt. They crouched low behind jagged obsidian outcroppings, scanning their surroundings. Ortiz's fingers trembled slightly as she adjusted her scanner. "What just happened?" Evans whispered, gripping his rifle tighter. "It's not over," Ramirez said, his eyes locked on the horizon. He was right. From the ruins, they emerged. At first, it was just a few. Tall, powerful figures wrapped in shimmering armor, their faces hidden behind intricate helmets. They carried weapons unlike anything the squad had seen before, long-bladed staffs pulsating with energy. Behind them, more followed, until a full phalanx of alien warriors stood before them, their presence radiating authority and danger. One stepped forward, their armor a shade darker, adorned with symbols that shimmered in the fading sunlight. This was their leader. The alien tilted its head slightly, assessing the human team before speaking in a deep, resonant voice. "You have trespassed upon sacred ground." The words echoed, not through sound, but directly into their minds. Hastings fought the urge to take a step back. They were telepathic. Dr. Ortiz, regaining her composure, took a cautious step forward. "We come in peace. We are explorers. We mean no harm." The alien leader studied her, then spoke again. "You have awakened the seal. The old war must not return. There is only one path forward." Hastings narrowed his eyes. "And what path is that?" The warrior raised its weapon and struck the ground with a thunderous clang. Trial by combat. The arena. The squad barely had time to react before they were surrounded. The alien warriors closed in, herding them toward a massive circular clearing carved into the black stone. The remnants of an ancient coliseum surrounded them, its pillars worn but still standing, an arena of the past, reborn in the present. Hastings and his team exchanged uneasy glances as the alien leader stepped forward. "Only the worthy may speak with the keepers of the seal. If you seek answers, you must prove your strength." Ramirez clenched his fists. Just like that. No diplomacy, no talks. The leader's gaze never wavered. "In our culture, strength is truth. Words are wind." Hastings exhaled, knowing they had no choice. "Fine. What are the rules?" A secondary figure stepped forward, their voice carrying a different tone, almost ceremonial. "The combat will be one-on-one, successive duels. Your chosen warrior against ours. If you fall, another may take your place. If your team refuses, you forfeit the right to speak, and you will not leave this place." Ortiz whispered, "This is an initiation, a test of worth. If we win, they'll listen to us. And if we lose," Evans muttered, "then we may never go home." Hastings turned to Ramirez. "You up for this?" Ramirez cracked his knuckles. "I thought you'd never ask." The first duel. Ramirez stepped into the center of the arena as the alien warriors pounded their staffs against the ground in rhythmic unison. His opponent emerged, taller, broader, and armed with a twin-bladed staff that hummed with raw power. The alien warrior took a stance. Ramirez did the same, rolling his shoulders. Then, without warning, the fight began. The alien was fast. It lunged, spinning its staff with blinding speed. Ramirez barely dodged, feeling the rush of energy as the weapon sliced past his face. He countered with a powerful right hook, but his opponent caught his wrist mid-strike and twisted, forcing him down to one knee. Ramirez gritted his teeth. Okay, not bad. Using his momentum, he rolled, slipping free and striking at the alien's exposed flank. The hit landed, but it was like punching steel. The warrior barely flinched before retaliating with a knee to Ramirez's stomach that sent him sprawling. He coughed, wiping blood from his mouth. The alien warriors roared in approval, not mocking, but respecting the struggle. Ramirez adjusted his stance, exhaling slowly. Round 2. This time, he anticipated the attack. As the alien warrior swung its staff, Ramirez ducked, diving inside its guard. He slammed his elbow into its ribcage, following up with a brutal uppercut that snapped its head back. The warrior staggered. The crowd fell silent. Then, in a sudden motion, the alien raised a hand, a gesture of respect. Ramirez, breathing heavily, returned the salute. The alien leader stepped forward, voice solemn. You have proven yourselves. The right to speak is yours. The path forward. As the dust settled, Hastings stepped into the arena. We need to know the truth about what's sealed away. We need to understand what we might have unleashed. The alien leader studied him for a long moment before speaking. Very well. We shall tell you the story of the last war, of the enemy that should not wake. He turned to his warriors and bowed deeply to Ramirez, a gesture unseen in their history but once before, a gesture that marked the beginning of trust. Hastings and his team exchanged glances. The real journey was only just beginning. The mystery is only deepening. What happens next? Don't miss the next episode. If you're still with us, you're part of the crew now. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a mission file transmission. Drop a comment below. What would you do in this situation? Thank you. Your support